Hey, fellow rock stars, Dr. Dan here, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about my favorite 8 ways to make money online that work right now, and I've used these myself, all 8 of them myself, to build my own digital empire. But before we get into all that, let's go ahead and roll that intro.
Welcome to the RockStar In Life podcast, where you learn the secrets to unleashing your inner rock star so you can make the world your stage.
All right, well, before we get rocking on all this awesome information that we're going to be going over with you guys today, let me bring in Tony. Tony, are you there?
What's happening, fellow rock stars? Tony's in the house.
Wow, Tony, your intros are getting really, really good. So I'm really happy that you've been practicing those. Have you been practicing them?
Yeah, only in the shower and things like that, in the supermarket, when driving. Just Tony's in the house. Yeah,
that's the best way to do it. Is that what you sing when you come home to the family?
Yeah.
Tony's in the house.
Not honey, I'm home. Yeah. Exactly.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm really juiced for today's episode because this is something I probably get most often in my daily life, whether it be like social media, whether it be personal emails sent directly to me, friends, family, people that I meet at birthday parties, and anywhere I go, this comes up more often than anything else. And that's, how do I make money online? Once they find out that that's what I've done in my business for the last, since 2007, I've been kind of playing around with it, and went full time in around 2008 or something like that, 2007, 2008. It's really something that has really allowed me to live the awesome lifestyle that I live today, to where my wife doesn't have to work. She can pursue the projects and the things that she loves to do. Right now, she's writing a book. And she's doing that with my kids as well. So it's just really awesome. I mean, my kids are homeschooled, and it just gives us all the freedom to be able to do whatever we want, whenever we want, to go anywhere we want, and to just raise our kids, the best way that we feel is possible. And, this could be for this information. This could be for those of you that might be just sick of your 9-to-5. You're sick and tired of working for somebody else. Or maybe it's just something you don't really enjoy anymore and you want a new challenge. Or maybe you hate your commute because you have to drive all the time and it takes you an hour to get there and an hour back. I mean, personally myself, I never really had to commute too much, at least every single day in my, in my old businesses and where I worked before, but I still hated it. I think I've only worked in a cubicle once in my life, and that's when I was in the mortgage business, and it was only for a few months, and then I got my own office. But still, man, it felt like soul sucking and soul crushing, not having a window and just being in this little box next to other people in boxes, and you could hear them talking and smell them. Some people smelled them, fortunately, it is what it is, but I wasn't going to be mean, but I prefer not to be next door, like with a little paper thing, dividing us. And actually reminds me, I don't know, Tony, have you ever seen that like comparison where they talked about the difference between a job and being in jail, where they like compared, like, in jail, you actually get a bigger jail cell than the average cubicle size. In jail, you get, have you seen that?
Yeah, I think, I've either seen that or I've seen a similar one where they're like, you get the different, they talk about the similarities or the differences between jail and working in a cubicle. And they're like, you've got this limited space, you're limited in this way, you're limited in that way, you're limited in the other way. And the other one is you're in jail.
Smaller. Yeah. Well, so I've seen it like the side-by-side comparison where they say, the jail cell's bigger than the cubicle. In jail, you actually get 3 square meals. At work, you get a half an hour break or an hour break, and you have to buy your own meal. And commute, you like spend your time like driving and all this other stuff. And I think the punchline was something like, in jail, you're behind bars. And in work, that you're like the highlight of your day is to go to bars or something like that, to drink it off for the day or something like that. But anyways, I thought that was pretty funny,
It's
like that
true.
little comparison right there.
It's true.
But maybe for some of you guys, you have some spare time, because of things that are going on in the world right now. Maybe you have a little bit extra time. Maybe you're working from home already at your job. So you're like, oh, I'm saving an hour of commute, and I'm realizing that I can get my, 8-9 hours of typical work that I have to just sit there and do really slow at work to let the time pass by. I can do in like 2 or 3 hours, and then I got the whole day to myself, and nobody's looking over my shoulder going, oh, well, if you're done with that, do this now, So you're noticing that you're more productive. So maybe you have more time, and this is something that you want to like start doing. Or maybe it's something you always wanted to start, something online or something new or something different, a new challenge. Or maybe it's that you have a special skill or a message, something that's just burning inside of you that you're like, I need to share this with the world. Like I need to help people do this one thing or live their life this one way. Or, I can, simplify things in people's lives or teach people this other skill. Like I love photography and I love taking pictures and I love doing it. So I want to teach that to other people. And this could be your opportunity to do that, because you could create courses online, memberships online. You could do coaching. You could do so many different things where you're able to connect with other people all across the entire world without you even having to leave your own home. And you could the best part is you're helping them, but you're also making money yourself and allowing you to live your passion, to do things that you enjoy doing and not having to work for somebody else and doing things you don't enjoy doing just so you can live, right?
Absolutely. And one thing that popped into my head now, before we get into the specific ideas of what to do and how to do it, is that two things. One thing I heard today was that there are more people out there that want to learn this, that need this information, need this service, than there are already providing that. So if you're thinking, oh, there's already people out there teaching that, or already people out there doing that, there's more people that need it than are offering it. So there's plenty of people for everyone. So don't get all scarcity minded. And the other thing is that, you might think, oh, I'm not the expert. I'm not the foremost authority on this. Well, the thing is, people just might want to get to where you are now. In school, they say like, the 10th grader is God to the 6th grader. You don't have to be the be all and end all expert in it. And I think just helping people up, even if it's something as teaching a kid how to tie their shoelaces, that's you've helped that kid, and it's exactly the same kind of principle that it may seem simple to you, but to other people, as long as you're helping them in some way, I think it's important work, and you should absolutely just go for it. So don't let your mindset hold you back. Just go for it.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, Tony, because that's something I definitely want to touch on in the first thing right here, which is one of the 8, the very first one that I listed. And again, these aren't in any particular order or anything like that. It's just the way I listed them out. And the first one is, and let's talk more about that as well, like what you were just saying. I want to touch, go deeper into that, is selling your own products. That's number 1. So it can be a course, teaching people how to do certain things. There's so many ways of doing this. And like Tony said, when it comes to selling a course, you don't have to be the number 1 expert at it. You don't. There's plenty of room for everybody. There are different styles and different ways. And some people actually love learning from me because I break down things stupid easy, and I try to do it with some humor and kind of mess around. And, there's a lot of videos out there, and I've seen trainings out there where they go like, they'll teach one lesson and, they'll teach one thing, and in one video, it's like a minute long, maybe 2 minutes long, maybe 3 minutes long. And they just get to the point and then they're done. And that's it. But there's a lot of questions afterwards, like, oh, but what if this, what if that, and all these other things. And I actually like to go back and explain that. So what would take somebody 3 minutes to just, to tell you one thing and then, oh, now figure out the rest yourself. I like to go into detail. I like to explain and break down every single thing. So some people prefer my teaching style. Some people want to buy it, whereas some people might want, just get to the point, I'll figure out the rest myself. Give me a 3-minute video. So in that case, it's better they buy a product from somebody else that speaks in 3 minutes or in a minute and a half, right? And that's totally fine. Because I just love to cover all the bases just in case, because there's a fast forward and a scrubber on every video. People can just skip around and find the content they need, or listen to the whole thing, or listen to it at sped up speeds, which I do all the time as well. There's some people that talk really slow, and I hit the little, the little +1 or +2 or +1.5 or 1.2 to get that thing to go a little bit faster. Do you do that as well?
100%, absolutely. In fact, we were talking about this yesterday or the day before. You can even do that on voice messages in WhatsApp. You can hit play on a voice message in WhatsApp and speed it up. So yeah, I'm all about that sped up life and just getting that info in quick. And then if I hear something and I'm like, wait, what was that? I can always go back, just play that bit again and slow it down to normal speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I don't recommend doing it for me though when you're listening to me, because I talk so damn fast sometimes. So
yeah.
You're like, wait, what did you say? Right, that doesn't work.
You may need to slow it down a bit, like people have to do with Russell Brunson. They have to never speed him up, slow him down instead.
Yeah, or Tony Robbins. As far as like that's again, you don't have to be the expert. You can also be a follow as I learn kind of person, right? Where it's like, look, I don't know how to do this, but you could follow along with me in this journey as I figured out myself too. People would pay for that. People do pay for that. I know product creators out there that have created courses that they knew absolutely nothing about the industry, or maybe they didn't even have a vested interest into that industry, but yet they created a product and they turn around and sold it because they did the collection of all the things needed to get into that business or whatever the heck it was that they were teaching. And that's valuable. So it could be something like, follow me along. I've collected all this data. I've curated all this data out there. I've done the research myself. So that way you don't have to do it yourself. So for instance, let's say somebody wants to open a restaurant. Well, maybe you don't know anything about opening restaurants, but it's always been a passion that you wanted to start a restaurant, but you don't really want to start a restaurant because you don't want to have to run it, right? So maybe you research every single thing that's necessary to start a restaurant. Maybe you reach out to local restaurant owners that are successful and you interview them and you tell them like, hey, I'm going to get you some publicity for your restaurant and things like that. And, you do it for free, and you don't charge them anything and they don't charge you anything. And you have content built in. You could turn around and sell that, to other people and teach them how to start a restaurant because you've already gathered all the information for them. That's going to save them time. So there are so many different ways that you can do this.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So let's go into my own personal experience with selling online. Now, keep in mind, I've been doing this for a while now, like way longer than 10 years. And for us, it was a lot harder back then. Okay. So it's that old story of back when I was young. You kids have it so easy today. Back when I was, back when I had to do it, I had to walk uphill to school in the snow, barefoot, uphill both ways, right? You've heard that saying. I think I said that last time as well. And it's so true because today, it is so much easier, so many more tools available. And it's so crazy. Like today, back then I had no affiliates. I didn't have anybody lined up. I just, I was told the multiverse kept saying, hey, you have all these people asking, how did you do this one thing? And back then it was because I was doing local marketing for local businesses and I was doing it all online, and there wasn't anybody else really offering those services out there. There wasn't these SEO experts out there. There weren't these influencers out there. There weren't people that were, helping local business owners get found online. There wasn't really that much of that going on. So I had actually, I was part of a forum and I was sharing some of the, stuff that I had learned and I was doing. And again, this wasn't like my skill that I had, like this isn't something that I just knew how to do. This is something that I researched. I went online. I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and there wasn't a lot on that either. I learned how to use a platform called WordPress. I learned how to like set up my hosting and to do all those different things. And I learned basics in SEO, search engine optimization, and all that kind of stuff. And then all I did was I started reaching out to local business owners, and I started offering a service, and I kind of put together my own kind of services that were unique from other people out there, my own packages. I started doing like these live events that I would pack a room full of a bunch of business owners, and I would kind of teach some of these strategies for like an hour to 3 hours long for free. Didn't charge them anything. And they would be like, hey, can I hire you to do all the stuff that you just taught me how to do? And I'm like, sure. So then I was sharing these things on these forums, on these marketing forums, and people were like, man, you need to really create a product out of this. And I was like, oh man, will I really make any money with that? I don't know. And they're like, yeah, you need to do it. And you need to charge like $7, per a copy of this ebook. So I basically just locked the door of my room, and I said, okay, guys, I've heard this so many times from people saying you need to actually create this product. And I had people saying I would pay you. I even had a couple of people reach out to me and say, hey, will you coach me and I'll pay you a couple $100? And I took one person up on it. I'm like, sure. And I actually, from what I taught them, and I recorded the whole thing and gave them a copy of it, I actually created the course from that content, from the, here's what you do, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, because I was giving them all the steps on this live coaching call I was doing with them for a couple $100 they paid me. And I made that kind of my outline for the ebook that I was creating. So the multiverse was speaking to me. It was saying, hey, you need to do this. You need to create this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to the multiverse because I don't want to get kicked in the nuts, right? Or the ovaries if you're a female. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I locked the room locked the bedroom door to my room. And I told my kids and my wife, and I was like, hey, I love you guys. And after I get this done, we'll hang out and have some fun, right? So it was like 5 or 6 days. It was under a week. I had written like over 100 pages. I think it was like 103 or 104. I created this ebook, threw in some images and just step by step laid it out. And I had it all together. So then I just had to create this little sales page, and I went on this marketplace and on the forum that sold products in that niche, in the marketing niche, and I listed it on there. And keep in mind, I didn't know what I was doing. This is the first real time that I've ever like tried to launch a product like that. And what I did was I actually first I modeled other successful people, which meant, and again, we actually did a whole YouTube episode on this, modeling other successful people out there, the success formula and recipe that successful people use, right? And so be sure to check that out. We'll throw that in the little link down below or above or somewhere around us. You'll see some stuff pop up. So check that out after this. So I had actually purchased a bunch of products and reached out to a few people that have successfully launched products. And I ended up reading a bunch of different things and a bunch of things. Back then there wasn't a lot of resources either. I mean, I think there was like 3 resources that I ended up finding that actually went through all this. And they all kind of said something similar and then some things different. So I just kind of picked and choose what I was going to use. And then I got it all together and I was ready to go. I finished it, I think, on a Friday. And they all said like you need to launch like on a Monday or a Tuesday in the morning. And I didn't listen to any of that because this was like a baby that I was like pregnant and I was ready to give birth. And I just wanted to get it out of me. I'm like, okay, I'm just so tired. I'm so exhausted from doing this. I just want to get it out of me. I don't want to wait. So Friday night at like 10 p.m. Pacific, which is, like 1 a.m. Eastern time, I was like, I just put it up there. And so it was already out there. So I put it out at the absolute worst day you could do it, which is a Friday night. People are all out partying and doing stuff. And I did it at late at night, which again was the worst time you can do it, no matter what day of the week. And I just put it out there. And then what I did, which is what you're not supposed to do, is then I started reaching out to affiliates, other people that I saw have sold products themselves. and done so successfully. And I reached out to pretty much anybody that created a product in that marketplace and said, hey, I know you don't know me. I've been on this forum for a bit and I just created this product called blah, blah, blah. Let me know if you want a free copy, check it out. And if you're interested, if you want to promote it for a commission. And I got a couple people that came back to me and said, hey, this looks pretty cool. I'll promote it. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden it starts gaining some traction and I'm getting all these testimonials from people. And I started putting those on the page and then it started selling even more. And then all of a sudden I'm selling over 500 copies in just a day or two. And all this money's hitting my PayPal account. Back then we were only using PayPal because it was a lot harder to get, different shopping cart services and different credit card services and things like that, merchant accounts. It was a lot harder to get back then. So all of a sudden PayPal dings me and says, or messages me, it says, oh, hey, by the way, your PayPal shut down. We need this information from you because it looks suspicious that you made all this money from all these $7 and $9 transactions. And we need you to verify some stuff before we let you start collecting money again. So all of a sudden, nothing's coming through. I'm not making any money anymore. I'm like, oh my God, all this traction, all this traffic, nobody can buy my product. I was freaking out. But I'm like, you know what? I'm a freaking warrior. I'm a warrior. I'm going to be successful. I'm not going to let anybody stop me no matter what. So I just, the best way I could, I answered them. I answered them as professionally as I could. I wasn't a jerk. I wasn't threatening. I wasn't anything like that. I was like, look, whoa, I'm so sorry that, that you felt that I looked suspicious, and I appreciate you taking precaution and protecting buyers and myself as a seller in case there was something going on. And I assure you there's nothing going on. And here's the information that you requested. And I really hope this is enough. And just please reach out to me. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. And hopefully we can solve this. And I was very, very polite and professional about it. And within, I think, a couple hours or a day after I submitted that, went back up. Everything's good again. So started making more sales again. It was growing. I'm like, oh, this is so great. I got past this roadblock. Yes, I'm feeling good. And then all of a sudden I got hit by by one of the admins, one of the moderators of that marketplace. And they were like, oh, hey, we had a couple complaints. And I'm guessing the complaints are coming from other competitors or something that didn't like my product competing with theirs because I was taking away sales from them, they felt, because they were in the same area or whatever. And they said, oh, inside your product, it says something like, you need to give me a testimonial. And if you give me a good testimonial, then I'll give you this bonus. Well, one of the products that I purchased that I was modeling after, and I've seen other people do it as well in there, they said, hey, leave me an honest review and I'll give you this bonus. I had worded it differently. So I'm like, dude, I'm a warrior. So I replied back to them, to that admin. Then I replied back to the owner of the marketplace in the forum. And I replied back to another admin that I saw in the forum as well. I just added to all of them. And I wasn't being a jerk. I was polite. And I said, hey, they shut down my account. They said that I could relist my product, but I had to start from scratch, and I couldn't use any of the reviews that I got or anything like that, and I had to start from zero again and set up a new sales page and everything else. And I'm like, and I told them, I was like, look, if you look inside my ebook, it's right here. And I took screenshots and sent them a copy. I said, it says, please leave me a honest review, and if you do, you get this bonus. An honest review. Just, it doesn't matter. It could be positive, negative. It doesn't matter. And I said, look, when they email with the thing that I told them in the subject line, it said like a bonus. If you type in I think it was like RockStar bonus, I said in there, if you put RockStar bonus in the subject field, then Gmail, I set up a filter that would automatically reply to them with the bonus. So it didn't matter what kind of review they left, as long as they just emailed that email, they got the bonus. So I told them that, and they said, oh, okay, yeah, we'll go and open back up. So it was down for like a day, and then it came back up, and then it started making more sales again. And, so again, like I said, I was a warrior. I'm like, I'm not going to let anything stop me. And I just pushed through and made it happen. And that product alone right there did over $100,000 within, it was like 30 days or something like that, or 45 days or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I'll have to look at it to get the exact numbers, but it was a lot of money. And that launched an empire, a digital empire for myself, because that was the first product that I really put out there and did really well.
Wow, that's an insane
So I think we met that way, didn't we?
Story. No. I first met you through one of the two Rockstars products. About the, do I give away the secret about the rank and rent stuff, which I believe you're going to be mentioning later. So you were with Bennett, so it wasn't through your first product. But one thing to notice there is first off, you had the 5-6 days of writing the thing. I think a lot of people would have given up at that point. Then you had the PayPal issues. I think a lot of people would have given up at that point. And then you had the network, the marketplace shut you down. Again, a lot of people would have given up at that point. Yet just on the other side of all of those exciting twists to the story, as you probably didn't look at it that way at the time, but that's what they were. You on the other side of that, you had this wonderful thing that came in. 100K. I don't care who you are. 100K is worth having, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I know you can't live off it, but it's a good start, right?
Start. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, again, like, I'm glad you brought that up, because it really is, when you have those naysayers, when you have the people, whether it's a family member, a friend, or, somebody in your life, or other people you don't even know that are coming at you, the haters, I have a shirt that says, it says love the haters, right? Because, if you got haters, then you're doing something right. And it's having that warrior attitude, having that successful attitude, being a rock star in life. That's what it's about. Not letting anybody pull you off a stage, and just making the world your stage. And there's room for everybody up there that wants to be a rock star as well. You're not taking away the stage from anybody else, but there are people that are just too afraid themselves to stand up on that stage and just, stand up there naked, right? To stand up there naked and just let all their imperfections hang out. So because they're too scared and they see you doing it, they feel jealous. They feel judged themselves for not doing it themselves. And then they want to pull you down off a stage. It's just it's human nature for some people that they just feel that if they can't do it, then you shouldn't be able to as well. And you got to just not listen to that and just get up there and just do it until others out there feel that, look, this person's not judging me. They're not, they're not trying to take anything away from me. And, even though I was being a jerk to them and I'm trying to pull them off stage, they're still up there. They're still up there. And you know what? I'm going to do it too. If they can do it and handle all the stuff that I threw at them, I'm going to do it as well. I'm going to get up there, and now you've just transformed somebody else as well. And that's what I love about it. Yeah.
Nice.
So, today things are so much easier for you guys, right? Like I said, there's so many more amazing tools out there that just makes life so easy. Back then, I had to learn how to use WordPress. I had to learn how to use membership plugins. I had to learn how to use, integrations with other services, because not everything works together. So you're like, okay, what works with PayPal? What works with this marketplace and this forum? And what works with this? And how do I deliver the products? And how is it protected? And how do I get my video? I mean, back then, we didn't have really, we had YouTube, but you couldn't use it for like a sales video because it wouldn't load fast enough. And you couldn't embed it because it would do ads and stuff as well. And there was a bunch of limitations on why you couldn't use YouTube on a sales page. It couldn't handle the amount of traffic that you were sending to it back then. Vimeo wasn't around, which is, another video tool, a video embed tool where you can, you could upload your videos and show your videos on pages and sites and stuff. Well, that wasn't really what it is today as well. It just couldn't handle the traffic. So there was a lot of really crazy things we had to learn how to do, how to record the right size video, and how to export it into web ready different file sizes, and where to put it on Amazon S3's file server, which is a whole nother complicated system. So you don't need to hear all that, other than it was really, really tough for us to do and to get all these things to work together and research it all and learn how to use these different things, because they were not built for your average user. They were built for coders and developers and people that really understood the really technical, the technical stuff, the really technical stuff. But today, there's still WordPress and there's still themes and plugins, but they just made it so much easier to integrate things together. And there's other, services available that you can host your products on there. So there isn't the same like roadblocks or the same like learning curve that we had to go through, which spent like weeks trying to figure out how to use this stuff, and sometimes months. There's things like LearnDash, which works with WordPress. There's Wishlist Member that works with WordPress. And then there's even easier tools like Thinkific or Teachable or Kajabi that are membership platforms that allow you, like they have the video hosting and everything is built into it, inside of it. But then you're also limited on expanding past that. But it's a good start. It's something to get started with. And just so you can start creating a product and just get it out there, right? So there's so many different ways that you could do it. And then there's tools like Zapier and Automatio that allow you to connect different apps that normally won't communicate with each other, but you can actually make them communicate with each other. So if somebody purchases, they get added to your email list, or they get access to this product. So there's so many different ways that you could do it today that we weren't able to do back then, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think previously the barrier to entry was just so difficult. It was a thick, high barrier, almost like Trump had built it, and it's so difficult to figure all these things out. Like you said, the technology and the filming, and I remember that I was laughing when you said about getting these web ready formats in the correct size and all this, and now we just walk around with our phones, which is just amazing cameras with great audio and everything, and now I guess the problem now is there's just so many options. There's so many great options out there. People can get a bit overwhelmed. But, that is such a smaller problem in comparison to this just figuring out, because now that all the information's out there, that was quite hard to find back in the day as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I've got all these we both got all these expensive cameras, microphones, lighting systems and all this other stuff. But you don't need those things to get started. Like, Tony said, is, just an iPhone or, an Android phone. Just grab it and start recording. It looks great. It's 100 times better looking than what we had back then, even at the highest level, right? It was like, it's crazy how much better things have gotten and easier just to get started. Plus, there's so many more ways to get in front of people, potential customers, to get more fans, to get more followers. Back then it was like really difficult. It was hard to find people to purchase your products and do things. And today, we've got services out there like it's social media and stuff. We got YouTube, which, is we didn't have anything. We had YouTube back then, but it was nothing like it is today. And so many people watch videos and so much time on YouTube. You got TikTok, you've got paid ads, you got Facebook ads, you got YouTube ads, you got Instagram ads, you got Google ads. You got so many different ways to get in front of people to offer your services or your products. No matter what it is that we didn't have available back then. You've got platforms like Zoom, right? Like where you can actually record classes and stuff and do them live. Or you can, there's also, we were joking around, we were saying there's OnlyFans as well, which most people only know as a place for somebody to like get naked and dance in front of a camera or something like that, or give content away. But I believe they have other stuff on there too. I haven't really checked myself, so I'll have to take somebody's word for it.
I don't want that in my browser history. I'm not checking that one for you.
Actually, honestly, I think I did check it out a while back. I searched, I did a Google search for something OnlyFans, And because I was checking something, I'm like, whoa, there is actually a lot of other content on here, but nobody ever talks about that. They only talk about like the sexualized stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's a platform. You can put stuff up there. You can put a gate on there so that they have to pay, a paywall. They have to pay to see the stuff. And that's literally all you need. And if people are putting other content on there and it's known for one thing, but they're using it in another way, then more power to them. It's like you said, Thinkific, Teachable, Kajabi. There's loads of others. Kartra, Voomly. There's loads and loads. And literally the only thing holding people back is up here. And if they just decide to go for it, there's ways at your fingertips where you don't even have to pay up front, do you? You can just use free trials. Just upload your stuff and get going. Get going.
Yeah. There really is no excuse. Just get started. And once you build it up, sure, it's a pain in the butt sometimes to move platforms, but you know what? That's a good problem to have, because at that point, once you're starting to make money, you're like, I'm expanding beyond this one easy platform. Now I'm ready to move off onto my own hosting and my own server and my own stuff. I'm going to hire somebody to do that. Well, great. Now you can do that. And sure, it's going to be a little bit pain in the butt to move your customers or whatever, but you'll have a team to put that together for you. And, and you got some money, and worst case scenario, like I think we signed up for 2 different shopping cart systems over the years that has affiliate systems and stuff like that. And we still pay for them. So I think I pay like a total of another $200 a month on services that I don't need anymore. We don't use anymore, but it still brings me in a few hundred to a few $1,000s every single month. So because of that, I'm not going to cancel those services, because then it would shut down the billing for those people, and they're still paying it. So it's making my money back. So it's not a huge deal. It's like, okay, great. I'm losing out $200, but it saved me time back then setting those things up, because the new things weren't available at that point.
Yeah. I think outgrowing any platform and going through the upset of moving from one platform to another because you've outgrown it is what we like to call a high quality problem.
Exactly.
Definitely a good place to be.
Yeah. So well, we're going to dive into number 2, and number 2 is selling memberships, selling membership type of programs or products. And this kind of like blurs in a little bit with number 1, which is selling courses, because it's really just about how, how you present it, because memberships can be sold just like courses as well, because typically when people talk about memberships, they say, oh, well, that's like a monthly thing, right? Well, not necessarily. Sometimes you could sell a membership for a one-time fee, lifetime. Well, people call them lifetime fees. Usually when I sell memberships today, I sell them as you get 1 year access, 1 year of updates, and that's it. And then, then that way I'm not committed to the lifetime, because I always hate when I see those. It's like, you get lifetime access. Well, how many products, Tony, have you owned over the years that said you get lifetime access and they're no longer around anymore?
Yeah, well, do you know what? I think lifetime is one of those wishy-washy. Is it my lifetime, your lifetime, or the lifetime of the product? Because sometimes these products appear and then they're defunct. It's I think the market moves on and I think the product dies. So maybe it's the lifetime of the product. But yeah, I've had a bunch of these lifetime deals, and they're pretty much more than not often, more often than not, it's a red flag, that they're just trying to get the money.
Yeah, I think I've only done that once, where I said you get lifetime access, or you get lifetime, it's a lifetime license, I think I put it. And fortunately, I caught that later on in other products, so I no longer use that. But I defined it as you get it's lifetime license to the product, and people had actually asked, like, well, what does that mean? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, I said it's going to be around as long as the service we're using that this is built for will be around, which we imagine will be forever. Well, that service ended up disappearing anyways. So, and when I say service, not our service, I mean the thing we were teaching and it was using, the API and everything that it was using, that complete service disappeared. So because of that, nobody was doing it anymore, and there was no way of using it. So the software was no longer needed, right? So you could, I mean, it wouldn't be much value if you open up your software and it doesn't do anything. So, and that service doesn't exist anymore. So I was fortunate with that, but that was the only time I ever used it. And then at that point, I always said, if it's a one-time fee, I always put there, you get at least 1 year, you get 1 year of updates. And then that kind of left it open where, we usually just let people in there forever, right? As long as whatever, so, but we didn't, now we weren't held to like a life, right? A
Is
lifetime.
it your discretion now instead of them going, whoa, hang on a minute, I expected at least 20 years out of this, this guide on how to, sell things to things that don't exist anymore. Yeah.
So it could be a one-time fee. It can be anywhere from $100 to $1,000 or more. It could be a monthly fee. I mean, there's so many different ways you could do it. You could be like, look, it's $99 a month, but if you pay $2,000, it's just a one-time fee, right? I don't want to say lifetime access, but it's just a one-time fee. And then you don't have to pay again. And so some people, that's valuable. They're like, okay, I'll probably be a member for over 2 years. So yes, I want to pay that. So again, that's why I say it kind of blurs in with the courses. It's just how you present it and the kind of product that you put together that would make sense for that. So that's another one of my favorite ones right there.
Yeah. I think one of the differences for me as well between courses and memberships is when you sell a course, you're expected to give the whole curriculum up front, saying what's inside of it and all that sort of thing. So like, over these modules, we're going to do this. Maybe you haven't created all of the modules yet. Maybe you've just written out what's going to be in it. Whereas with a membership, you've got a lot more flexibility. I think you could say it's on this topic, and then maybe you can chop and change as you go along. So maybe rolling with what's working, you might have a make money online type thing like what we're discussing now. And you might say, okay, this month TikTok has exploded, so I'm going to show you what's working on TikTok right now. So that's more reactive, whereas with a course, I think you're saying up front what it is that needs to be in there. So I think that's one of the nice differences is you can kind of make stuff up a little bit with the membership, whereas with the courses, you have to say up front what's going to be inside of it.
Yeah, and there's no hard, fast rule. Really, you can
all.
make it any way you want. That's why I say they're so blurred. They're so blurred on what it could be. It could be so many different things. And that'll bring me to my third favorite, which is affiliate marketing. What I do love about affiliate marketing is anybody can get started. Anybody can do this, and you don't have to create anything yourself to sell. And that's the best part about it. So, I mean, you could just start a YouTube channel reviewing, or even TikTok or, or something like that, where you just review products that you like and you can sell other people's stuff. Now, so when it comes to selling things like that, or you can sell, you can have other people sell your own products, your own courses, your own membership, or, they can sell your courses or membership as well. So it can go either way. You could sell Amazon stuff. Now Amazon doesn't pay as much as they did at one point, but they never paid that much, but it adds up. It's just extra money, because if you're going to be talking about certain products or certain things, then why not have a link to something? Because most people buy on Amazon. You could put a link to, a tripod camera, a tripod for a camera that you really like. And it might be on some specialized website or something, some photography site. Well, the first thing most people do is they just go to Amazon and check and see if it's even there. So why not save that time and put a link to both if you're going to do that? Put a link to Amazon and that other one, but then that way you also get cookied. It's called a cookie. You get cookied for that commission. And I'm pretty sure they still do it the same way, where when they buy one thing, if they shop on anything else on Amazon with a certain amount of time, you also get a commission on that stuff as well. So if they go and, I'm going to get that tripod from Amazon, they put that in their cart, and then they turn around and they're like, oh, I also need diapers. I also need, some protein shakes. I also need some makeup. I also need this workout stuff. Well, all that stuff that they buy, you get commissions on that as well.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a good idea to do that. And then there's also like eBay has an affiliate program, ClickBank, which is just another, that one actually has courses and stuff like that on there. Some of them are pretty crappy, but it does have some good stuff on there, I believe. It's been a while since I've been over there checking, but I know I've promoted a couple things on ClickBank over the years. But they were mostly they were all personal friends that I promoted. But there's a lot of things on there, all different types of products on there that you can actually promote. There's a couple other platforms out there as well that you can research and find. There's a lot of affiliate programs out there. The best thing you can do is things that you use yourself and products that you like yourself, or sites that you like to go to and buy stuff from. The best thing you do is just search and check their website for anything that says partner program or affiliate program. And a lot of them have that, and you can sign up for it pretty easily. And then you can turn around and promote their products. So for example, if let's say you want to create a channel all about working out and exercise and fitness, or eating healthy and being healthy, you can actually have links to Amazon products, anything that you like on there. There's also this massage gun that I use. I have it back there on the floor. I actually bought two of them. They're like $500 each. The ones that I bought, they were called Tim Tam, and they're those percussion trainers, kind of like the Theragun. Very, very similar. It came out close to around the same time. A lot of the MMA fighters use them, and NFL teams use the Tim Tam. Really powerful. And I've been using it for a year since the first one came out, and I ended up buying the newest version as well. And I liked it so much I bought two of them. One is up here all the time, and then the other one is downstairs on my squat rack. There's an adapter that allows it to just sit there in one place, so you can just lean up against it and get those spots yourself in your back. And my wife uses that several times a day, and they're great. But, hey, I love them. So why not? Why not sign up for their affiliate program, which they have one, and you could turn around and promote that as well. So I should put a link down below to that as well. Now that I've mentioned it, I just thought about that. Nice. So I don't remember if I did sign up for that one or not, because I hadn't actually made a video yet about it, but I guess I did now. So I should do that, right? There's also other, a great way is just go on Google and search whatever product it is, and then affiliate program or partner program. Usually affiliate program will pull up pages. Like I just did some for, there's a couple ones that I like. There's On It. Is one of the, what was it? So there's On It is one that I buy a lot of stuff from. Rogue Fitness is another one I buy a lot of stuff from. Titan Fitness is another one that I buy a lot of stuff from. And all of them had affiliate programs when I just Googled it real quick just to see, I wonder if they have an affiliate program. And they all have an affiliate program. So things that you use and things that you like and things that relate to stuff that you're going to teach, those are things that you should promote. And you can be affiliate and make money. And that's a great way to make money off of stuff, right?
Absolutely. And one of my favorites actually is doing things that aren't even necessarily related to what you do. So, for example, booking.com for hotels and trips and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, fair enough. People aren't booking hotels and whatnot as much, but they have an affiliate program where you recommend it and they get a credit and you get a credit. So it's not really an affiliate program where you get cash, but if it's something you use, then great. The same today, I ordered some printing from a print company, and it said, hey, promote us and get £15 and they get £15 as well. So there's a mobile phone SIM card that I recommend to people if they're like, I want SIM only. So they have nothing to do with the things that I do work-wise, but I still have those links as well. So I just say, oh, yeah, if you like that, get that. But like work-wise, I'll say, oh, yeah, there's a hashtag tool that I recommend. Here's the link. And you just get just a couple of pounds or whatever, a few dollars, few pounds. But, you have enough things out there, then these figures do add up. There's a video that I did comparing one product to another product. It's had over 16,000 views, and I'm sure a couple of those things went through and made sales on which I got my company got a commission. I don't get the commissions, the company gets the commissions. But yeah, it's just so simple. And if it's something that you like or that you recommend to other people, then just give the link. And like Dan said, if they go on to buy stuff on Amazon, they follow your link and go on to buy. Currently, I think it's within 24 hours. Then you get credited with any other purchases. And they have diamond rings on Amazon. So don't think it's all books and elastic bands, rubber bands. People can go on to buy some really expensive stuff. And if they've clicked your link first, then yeah, you could be quids in.
Yeah. For years with Amazon, I actually had set it to not send me actual commissions, but instead to send me Amazon gift cards. And every month I would probably get like $500 worth of free gift cards from Amazon. And I was like, oh, this is nice. I can buy all my stuff. Wow. So that was nice back then. But the short story on that, Amazon ended up, I don't know what they did. It was really dirty what they did, but I don't know. Anyways, they had, what they did is they canceled. I don't know if they did to everybody, but I heard a lot of people say it, that they just shut down people's Amazon affiliate stuff and said, we're changing our terms and changing stuff. So you need to re-sign back up. So by doing that, everything that I had in the past was gone now. And so I had to go back and relink every single thing under the new links because none of the old links worked anymore. And there's so many things I never went back and changed. But this is a good time to mention. You should always use your own links, not Amazon links directly. So like what you see usually when we recommend something down below, we have a link somewhere, whether it be on the RockStar In Life site or in YouTube or anywhere else. I typically like to use a rockstarinlife.com/something. And then it redirects you to where I want you to go to check it out, because in that way I control the link. So if something changes, or if I'm like, oh, that product sucks now, or they've had a quality control issue, or I just don't like that company anymore, I want to recommend this instead. I don't have to go back and change that link every single place. Now I can just change that in one central location, and it'll change it for everywhere that link is shared. So it doesn't really matter. And I use, personally, I use WordPress for my site. So I use a plugin called Pretty Link, and they have a free version and a paid version. I do the paid version, but I think free works for pretty much everything else. And you just install that on a .com. For years, I had one that was like drdanlikes.com. I just bought the domain, and I didn't set up a website really for it. I just had a front page that didn't really have anything on there. And then I set up that plugin so that way I could do redirects for everything that I wanted. So you don't have to have an actual website really that you want people to go to. You could just use it for links.
Yeah.
But that's super important now.
Top tip.
Now going back to the affiliate stuff, affiliate marketing is very, very powerful, especially when you get other people to promote your stuff. So if you do create a membership or you do create a course, getting affiliates to sell your product is super powerful, especially if you're just starting out. Because just like me, I was able to do it in my first 30, 45 days or something like that. I sold like 2,000 copies of my product because I had affiliates. If it wasn't for the affiliates, I might have only sold like 500 to 800, maybe 900 copies. But they were responsible for a lot of the sales. So that can build you a bunch of buyers list and emails of people that buy your products really fast. So then you could turn around and start promoting additional stuff as well. So it's very, very powerful to have affiliates for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that would bring us into number 4 is partnerships and JVs. Done really, really well with partnerships and JVs. Now this can cover everything from a short run with a partner, or a joint. JV stands for joint venture. You might just want to be like, oh, hey, like for instance, like you might be like, hey, Tony, I know you like microphones. I like microphones too.
Love them.
We should create a whole channel just reviewing microphones. We should create a blog, create microphones, and that could be like something that we put together. And it could be our partnership, right? So we're partners on that, but you have other projects you're working on by yourself or with other people. So that would be like a limited partnership. And then there's joint ventures, which is similar, but typically when we refer to JVs, it's similar to like affiliates, where you're just doing a joint venture, whether you guys create just one product together and start promoting it together, or maybe it's their product and you guys are gonna, you're gonna promote it for them for a limited run, and maybe you're gonna add a bonus or something else in there. So again, it's kind of a blurred line between affiliates where you do joint ventures with affiliates. So typically I think the way I would define it would be an affiliate would be somebody that you just promote their product once and that's it, or a couple times or continuously. And a joint venture would be something like, hey, I'm going to actually talk to this person and we're going to actually promote each other, or I'm going to promote them, or they're going to promote me. But we're going to do something more specialized. Like we're going to make it more customized and maybe add some stuff, or maybe I'll do an interview that they get as a bonus for buying my product, or a free training or something like that. So there's a lot of ways you could define that. But what I will say about doing partnerships, it's a great way to complement your strengths and to plug your own weaknesses, because that's super important to be successful, is to know what you're not that good at, to know where your weaknesses lie, and to either hire somebody to fill that for you or to partner with somebody that's good at that. So maybe you don't like being on camera, but somebody else does. And they're like, I love being on camera, but I hate the technical stuff. Well, that's where you bring somebody on that loves to be on camera. And then maybe you love to do the other stuff, right? So, or vice versa. Maybe you like to be on camera, but you don't like the technical stuff. So you might want to find somebody that does that. Or maybe both of you guys like to be on camera and both of you, don't really love, the technical stuff. Well, then you guys just split the technical stuff, and now you only have to do half of that technical crap. They do the other half, and then eventually you just hire somebody to fill that void, right?
Bingo. Yeah, you just described our situation. Yeah, absolutely. I think having somebody to bounce off is great, and like you said, it might just be for a limited time, or it might be for just the limited scope of one thing. And I think that's great. It's great. Like we work on this. And it just works brilliantly, and we work on other things as well, but this is this, and I think partnerships, it's just so nice to have somebody to bounce ideas off and just to make something with. So yeah, it's great. I'd highly recommend it. Maybe you're scared about getting started on something. Maybe you're too many what ifs and I don't know this, I don't know that. Then maybe working with somebody will lift you out of that. Maybe working with somebody who's like, let's go is exactly what you need.
Yeah. Or maybe they're the expert in something and you're not, maybe, you're going to be doing an exercise channel type thing, or an exercise kind of thing, or workout. And they're the one that's fit and you're just getting started in fitness, but you really love it. And you want to be part of it, but you're not the one. So they're the face of it, and they're the one teaching all the lessons, and you do the technical stuff and you're a part of it as well. So, or maybe it just interests you. So that's something that you want to do as well.
Absolutely.
So that's when partnerships come in like really, really good. Then I would say the next one, it brings us into number 5, which is making money with webinars. Now this is kind of funny because back when we started, when I was doing this, let's say 12 plus years ago, I was doing webinars. It's really changed. I mean, back then we didn't really have live streaming like we do today. So there's so many different streaming, networks and services out there. So it's kind of a blurred line now of, we still call them webinars with like using like GoToWebinar or Zoom or something like that. And then you call live streaming where I guess TikTok has it now too, but YouTube, Twitch, what other? So we were just talking about this. I was telling you that Facebook has it, Amazon has it. Instagram has it as well now, right? They've had it for a while.
LinkedIn has it as well, interestingly enough.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different things now. Now so those are, I would still call them live streaming, but it's a form of a webinar where you're in front of people and you're presenting them, whether it be training information or selling them a product. But it's very powerful way to be able to present your information, your training, to gather followers, fans, to build an email list, and to sell more products. So it is a great way, and it's one of the easiest ways to get your products and services out there, because you're being face to face with people. And with webinars, I would say the difference between live streams and webinars is live streams are expected to be like this, where you're in front of the camera and you're seeing their face. With webinars, you're usually just showing slides. And there are a few people that will do like where they're in the corner and you can actually see their face or whatever, but typically you're just showing slides and you're giving a training and people are just watching a screen. So, I mean, it's kind of, again, it's one of those blurred things that have kind of shifted a little bit and things are changing. There's hybrids and stuff like that. But in the past, man, I mean, we've made so much money with webinars. I mean, one of the big claim to fame, we did over $100,000 in just like, I think it was 48 hours, selling one product. And it wasn't even our product. It was a product that we had done a joint venture with somebody, or we actually did a limited partnership with somebody and helped them kind of flesh out the product. They put it together. We told them how to make it better. And then we created the training around it. And then we just went out there and promoted it. And it did over $100,000 in like 48 hours. And it was like pretty damn good. So, and then I've done a lot of other webinars where just made a couple $100, made on average, they probably do anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 per webinar. So they definitely are something that you want to implement into your business and into your life once you get to that position to where you can actually do those, right? Because you're going to have to decide what you're going to start with. And then I would highly recommend starting to do some form of, whether it be live streams, webinars, or a combination of both, for sure.
Yeah.
And what's funny is,
sorry, I was going to say, like you said, one of the important things there is when you were saying about doing it with slides and things, that I think takes away a big thing for a lot of people. They're like, oh, I don't want to be in front of a camera. Great, you don't have to be. Just make some simple slides and off you go. That's a big kind of excuse or barrier just been removed right there. So yeah, definitely go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like doing either of them personally. I just make myself do it. But I do love webinars way more when it comes to being behind the slides, mainly because, like I could be wearing my underwear. Like once I actually did a webinar in my underwear, just so I could say I did a webinar in my underwear, made money in my underwear. And I did it in my onesie before too. So I could say I'm making onesie money, right? In my PJs. And so it's a great way that you don't have to be on camera. You don't have to be prepared. I don't have to sit up. I don't have to sit at the perfect distance. I don't have to have my microphone in a perfect way and backdrop and all that stuff. I can just turn on my camera. I have my desk flipped around the other way, but now I had to flip it this way just so I can get more light in. So I do enjoy just doing webinars where I don't have to be on camera. But again, just do what you need to do. And get it done, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I was going to say was funny is...
Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. This is the second thing I was going to say is what's funny is back when I was first selling, I remember people would always call their lists, they would call them their list, right? They call their buyer their email list and their list and their buyers. And I had actually started calling them fans. Like, oh, these are my fans, and we're going to sell to our fans, and we're going to make these offers to our fans. And it's funny because like in the marketing world, in the internet marketing world and online marketing, so many people didn't like that. They're like, oh, I'm not going to call it that. But it's just funny that we've kind of turned around and now everybody calls it fans, right? It's like everything is fans and followers now, like social media and everything is all about fans and followers. Nobody talks about their list anymore.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. I think that maybe fans caught on because of Facebook, perhaps with the old pages and everything. Nice.
Exactly. Yeah. So what are we on now? We're on number 6, right?
Number 6. Yeah.
All right. So number 6, running online coaching programs. Wow, this is definitely probably one of my top favorite things to do. And the reason being is because this allows you to really connect with your fans, with your followers, with your customers, with the people that you're helping. And instead of them just being, buying a course and then just going through the videos, you actually get to connect with them. You get to know what it exactly they want, and you can adjust it specifically for whatever it is you're teaching. Not to mention, probably my favorite thing about it is that you don't have to create anything ahead of time, meaning you don't have to have a course created ahead of time because you're creating it as you're moving forward. And another cool thing is once you create it and you do this once, you can turn around and you can package it as a membership or a one-time course or a monthly fee, or you could just run it again as a coaching program, but not have to do it live again. Or at least you can do a hybrid where you're not doing the training live anymore, but because you've already done it and it's recorded, but you are doing like the Q&A at the end of the week or something like that, where you do that live, but not the other stuff. So you save yourself so much time. There's so much value perceived and so much value being given on these kind of programs. And it just saves you so much more time in being able to reach so many more people, because I have done one-on-one coaching before, and I've done it online. I've done it in person, and it's just very time consuming. You can only reach and talk to so many people a day, and it just takes a lot out of you. And I just couldn't stand it. I couldn't handle it anymore. It wasn't that I didn't want to help these people and I didn't like whatever, it wasn't about them. It was about me. I just didn't have the energy to be 100% or give 110% every single person that I spoke to. So it was better to get them into a group, and then I could give them 200% because I knew I didn't have to have anything in reserve for the next person. So it was all at once in a group, being able to just give them everything. And then there's a lot of people in coaching that are afraid to ask certain questions. Well, it's great because a lot of the people in the group, in the coaching group, had the same similar questions, and at least one or two people had no problem raising their hand and saying, "Hey, I've got a question about this," or I'm confused with this, or I'm scared of this. Can you help me through this? And so everybody kind of grows off of each other. And in some instances, you can also create this camaraderie and this kind of network of other like-minded, individuals that can meet each other and become lifelong friends, or even partners or joint ventures where they want to joint venture with each other or keep in contact and become really good friends. So there's just a lot of benefits of doing it. And I've done in-person coaching programs, group coaching programs that I had people fly to my house here in Southern California in Costa de Casa. And I had back where my gym is now, I had a bunch of tables laid out, and I had chairs, and I put up a big screen TV up on a stand and did this presentation and this whiteboards. And we did this training over here with, I think it was like 12 or 15 people or something like that. And they spent a couple days with us, and we fed them, lunch and dinner, and had this, one of those, what do they call the Mercedes Spirit vans, pick them up and from their hotel and bring them to my house and then bring them back. And we did that for a few days, and it was really cool and it was very valuable. But still, I love doing those maybe like once a year, but the group coaching online is still my absolute favorite because you can do it any time of the year. You don't have to travel. You can get more people involved. I think the very first one I did, I think it was 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Very first time I launched one, charged, I think it was like $3,000 each a person. Yeah, it was $3,000 a person, and ended up signing up 34 people the very first time I ran one. And if you do the math on that, that was like $102,000 or something like that. It was a 6-week course. So it's not even like a year or anything like that. Usually we'll run like 6 to 8 week courses, coaching programs. And I think that one was a 6-week course. So not bad. Pre-sold it for, I think, a week or two. And it's, all in all, that's not a bad use of your time for that amount of money, right?
Boom. Again, the $100,000. It's not to be sniffed at. You you can't live on it, but it's a start, like Dan said. I've been on both sides of coaching programs. I'm in a coaching program. And like Dan said, you do get this this camaraderie. We're all in a WhatsApp group, or there's a couple hundred in the group coaching thing, but there's 11 of us in a WhatsApp group, and we are like brothers. And at least 5 of them and their partners are coming to my wedding. The UK party in October. So yeah, absolutely. The thing for me for the group coaching is that exactly what Dan said. People are going to ask the questions somebody might be afraid to ask, but also people ask questions and you think, damn, I didn't even realize I had that problem. So you can nip that one in the bud early on. So yeah, group coaching is great, and it's so valuable. So when people think, oh no, one-to-one coaching is so much better, it isn't. It drains the life out of you. I do both with people as well, where I do one-on-one sessions with them for an hour a week, and I have group coaching as well. For me, I find the group coaching super valuable, super fulfilling. Although, funnily enough, the stuff that comes up in the one-to-one stuff often gets brought into the group stuff, and I say, hey, here's what we're going to cover this week. So they're both brilliant. But yeah, group coaching is super useful, powerful, fulfilling, and valuable to the people in the group. So don't even think that it's anything less than one-to-one coaching.
Yeah. And another, one of the things I love about it too is just the time and the cost of entry is a lot better as well, because you are doing a group. So you can charge a little less than you normally would if it would be in person. And also the cost of hosting the event and running the event is a lot less as well, because you don't have to buy any equipment. I mean, I bought like 4 big folding tables. I bought, really nice tablecloths. I bought, I think it was like 20 really nice cushioned hotel type chairs that you see at those hotel event rooms. So I ordered a bunch of those, and I got those still in my garage now. I bought like audio equipment. I have like big speakers, microphones, headsets. I've got mixer boards. I've got all the stuff I don't even really know how to use. And the funny thing is, when my mother-in-law got married, we actually used it at her wedding, which is kind of funny. But the one thing, the thing is that you can charge anywhere from, again, there's no rules, but typically I don't charge any less than $1,000 a person. I've charged $2,000, I've charged $3,000 a person for those group online events, group online coaching. So you can charge whatever it is. And again, it depends on what it is you're teaching. Obviously, if you're teaching photography, not a lot of people are probably going to pay $3,000 per person, but again, it's nothing to sneeze at. It could be a couple $100, it could be $1,000. I don't know. It just depends on what you're teaching. If you're teaching them how to start their own photography business where they can make $50,000, $100,000 a year, and you're going to teach them like from beginning to start how to start the entire thing, then yeah, sure, it is worth a grand at least or something like that. So you can kind of play around with it, but there's a lot of money to be made, and people don't have to worry, because they're going to save money too. Remember, they don't have to worry about getting a plane ticket if they're not in the same city or state. They don't have to worry about travel arrangements. They don't have to worry about taking time off of work typically, because, they can just work around their schedule or something like that. So it's really, really great. It's just so much easier. And that's why I love about it, for sure.
Absolutely.
So I highly recommend doing it. So let's move into number 7. Number 7 is a SaaS business. And for those of you that don't know what SaaS stands for, it's sassy, like Sassy Smurf, right?
Sassy Smurf.
That was in an episode. That was in an episode of Ted Lasso, where he was like, "Oh, you like Sassy Smurf," and the girl's like, "I don't think there was a Sassy Smurf." He's like, "Really? There should have been one." That sounded like it'd be a fun one.
Nice.
So I thought that was pretty funny. So SaaS, so software as a service. And sometimes I even forget what that stands for, but It's pretty funny. But I built a SaaS business years ago. I think it was 2010 was the first piece of software that, and it's still today, I sell more, but the first one that we did, and hired somebody off of one of those freelance sites. Cause again, you don't have to know how to do any coding or anything like that. You don't have to know any of that stuff, right? You just have to know, where is there a problem or a challenge in an industry or somewhere, and just how to solve it. That's it. Figure out how to solve a problem others are having, and then charge them for it, because they're having that problem, whether it's going to fix it completely or save them time, or it's just easier, nicer, or better. It doesn't really matter, as long as you're solving something, or you just, something like that. Now, I hired somebody back then. There's a freelance site called Upwork today. It's in service. Back then there was like Elance. There was, which isn't around anymore. What was the other one? It was
Odesk.
What's that?
Odesk.
Yeah, there was Odesk. What was that, like Code Writer or something like that? I can't remember exactly what it's called, but there was a couple other.
Hour.
No, that wasn't around back then. No, I forgot what the other one was, but it was something Code or something like that. And so, they're basically the same thing. And put out an ad, said I needed somebody to build this, and ended up hiring a guy out of the country for $500. And he built the software that I needed to solve a problem for our customers and for something we were putting together. Turned around, and again, that $100,000 in under a week from a $500 investment. So who here couldn't put together $500? Like, dude, there's something in your house you could turn. When I was broke and I wanted to send my wife to an event that would help our business back when we were doing something different, I was like, man, I really want to send her to this event. This could be the difference for our business. I turned around and I sold an old stereo system I had for my car. And I sold a big screen, back then, a big screen TV, which is not even close to a big screen as today's standards. I sold a TV, and I sold a DVD player that I had, and I got the $500. Or actually it was $1,000 I had to get. So I got $1,000 for that. So I sold all that stuff. So who couldn't do that, right? It's like, what the heck? Like, who couldn't come up with that? Or get an investor. That'd be like a JV. Get a family member or something. Hey, put in this money and we're going to hire this developer and I'll give you this much money back. You don't have to give them 50% of your profits, but you can just give them like, okay, well, I'll give you double your money back after I do this, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you could do, or you could just partner with a developer and say, hey, I'm going to launch this one product and I'm not going to pay you anything. Create this, but we're going to make money together. So I've seen people do that as well. And we've done that over the years. Today, we don't hire people like that really anymore. Today, now actually have our own full-time developers. And we found them from sites like that where they were doing projects for us one-off, and then ended up hiring 2 of the developers full-time, and now they only work for our team.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, so that's super powerful right there too. So it's another one of my favorite, because again, most of them are going to be monthly fees, right? Sure, you can do software. Back then we did software as a one-time fee for that one product. But today and back then it wasn't as common for people to charge a monthly fee for software back then. So we were like some of the first to start doing that. And we had a lot of resistance. People saying like, I don't want to pay a monthly fee. I want to pay one time. But the market has actually changed now. I think people are actually more wary if it's a one-time charge versus the monthly fee. So that's pretty interesting.
I think because back then you could go to Staples or PC World or wherever, and you could buy CD-ROMs of software and you paid one time, didn't you? And I think that people are still in that mentality. But now everything you pay monthly for, especially with software. But literally everything is monthly now.
Look at it, Adobe. Adobe did that a couple years ago with all their stuff. They used to be a one-time charge. What is it? Microsoft Word and all that crap is now
Office,
a monthly fee as well. Office. I mean, I still haven't signed up for it. I was trying to, and then something didn't work, so I just gave up. Because I prefer Apple Pages myself over Microsoft Word. But for some things, some people send me some stuff, and I'm like, I need to see what it actually looks like to other people. And so I do need to finally sign up for that. So that's just another $99 a year I need, right?
Ew. No, I've
Yeah.
managed without it for a really long time. I've managed without it. I do everything on Google Docs, and I tell myself it's because I can access it from anywhere. But the reality is, it's because I'm super cheap and I don't want to pay for Microsoft Office if I don't have to. The other alternative is OpenOffice, but things might not look exactly the same as you know. So if you need it for that, then I guess you need it for that. But you got the homeschooling, so I guess you could get educational discount, couldn't you?
Yeah. I definitely love Google Docs way more, but I use Apple Pages in place of Word. But the only reason I was even going to get Word was actually because I wasn't sure. I need to check when you're writing an actual book, a physical book. I wasn't sure how user friendly using Apple Pages with something like, I know they call it Kindle publishing now. Before it used to be called Amazon Book Surge and something else after that or something. So I wasn't 100% sure how that was, because I need to redo my books and get them on there because I need to update a couple things and put them back up for sale, because I keep talking about how I got these best-selling books, but you can't really buy them right now unless you go to lulu.com, and people are like, what's that? So things have changed back then. And I had Lightning Source was my publisher, or who I was publishing through, and they were actually at that time connected with Amazon, but then Amazon bought that other service, which is now Kindle Publishing. So yeah, it was Square or something like that. Is that what it used to be called? I'm trying to remember what it was called. Anyways, yeah, it's made so many changes. And back then, Microsoft Word was like the only thing that you could actually use to edit and get it to work together. So I had to learn how to use Word, where I much prefer Apple Pages. So, okay. So let's move on to the final one of this list, which is digital. It's number 8, digital landlording. Leasing sites, renting sites out. Definitely one of my favorite, mainly because it's something that anybody can do without having any real experience, without having an existing customer list, without having to really like create any products or learn how to do. I mean, you have to learn some stuff, but it's probably one of the fastest way to quick money, because with everything else, if you're selling like a $10 product, a $100 product, a $200 product, $500 product, it takes time to be able to build up the amount of sales to where you could go full time, right? To where you don't have to do a job and you just do part-time around your current job. But with digital landlording, with building sites, you just have to learn how to build sites and then turn around and find customers to rent them from you. And you only have to find one per a site typically. And that's a lot faster to that quick cash. And for me, I think that's one of the reasons why I love it so much, is because when I first started out, I had actually attempted to do affiliate marketing. I attempted to sell products online. I attempted to do these other things that everybody talked about, like, oh, it's so easy, you can make money, whatever. But the difference was I needed to make money fast. So I was like, oh man. And then I started learning SEO because I was trying to learn that for affiliate marketing. And then I written my books and I'm like, oh, I need to learn SEO even more. And I started learning so much that I have business owners telling me like, hey, because this is back when in 2010, or 2009, 2009, when the market pretty much was crashed and crap, right? And people are saying like, I need more business. And I know that you're talking about how you're doing all this YouTube stuff and doing this internet stuff with Google and ranking your stuff for your own books. Could you do that for my business? And I was like, sure. And they're like, well, can I pay you, $500? Can I pay you $1,000? And I'm like, yeah. So it just started taking off. And again, it was that multiverse saying, hey, dummy, pay attention. So I had to learn all this stuff on my own through trial and error. And then that's basically what my first product became, was teaching people how to do what I just did, which was helping local business owners get found online, get more leads, get more business, get more eyeballs to their offers, services, and to their business locally, which is a heck of a lot easier. and for me to do than for them to learn how to do it themselves. So that's probably the biggest reason why I love it so much. And that's, we have courses that teach how to do all this stuff because it's something that I've been teaching for over 10 years how to do. And we've developed software that actually builds sites to make it even faster, because it would take probably 2.5, 3 hours knowing how to do it myself, how to build WordPress sites. For most people, it's going to take a lot longer to first learn how to do that. But then once you do, you could do it pretty quick, and there's cloning software and all kinds of things like that. But it still takes time, and there's a lot of vulnerabilities in WordPress and things that you have to keep up on, and especially when you start building up a lot of sites. So we developed our own software called Sparksio, which actually builds sites, but not on WordPress. So that way they're way more protected. They do better on the Google searches. They rank a lot faster. They're just, it's a lot easier, and it's a easier way to get in and learn how to do those things. And we do all the training. So bottom line is that's why it's one of my favorite things, because you can go out there and you can create like 3 sites in your first week after going through the training. And you could do that in the first week. You could turn around and start leasing or even sell them to other business owners. And you can charge anywhere from $100 to $1,000 or more per site, or bundle them together. There's really no rules on how you do it. And it was the fastest way that I was able to make a lot of money really quick.
Yeah. That's actually how I first got introduced to you and Ben over at the old Two Rockstars Brothers Boys Band. It was through one of your old how-to kind of guides, one of your initial courses that was in a PDF form, I think, and it was just talking about, build these sites in WordPress, and this is how you target keywords, and I was a webmaster at BT, which is like British Telecom, so it's the oldest original kind of telecommunications company in the UK. So I was like, oh, I've got this, and I knew what I was doing, but it was still taking me 2-3 days to build a decent site, and then there was the ranking side of things, and all of that. So all these things like Sparksio that helps to build the sites and everything. Like you said, it removes the need for keeping like plugins updated, and it's just so much more secure. And it's such an easy win to do it that I think people are put off because they think it looks too good to be true because it's so easy. So for me, I was like, I'm just glad I tried it, and seeing it go from how difficult it was, I can say it's like walking uphill in the snow both ways barefoot, and now it's just so much easier with Sparksio and all those. So yeah, digital landlording, build it and then rent it instead of like these SEO companies going, oh, I'll get you to the top of Google, but they promise the earth, but the only thing that really they can promise is that they'll take your money. So going to a business and saying, hey, I've ranked this, do you want it? It's a game changer, absolute game changer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite, and then affiliate. Those are my top 2. Yeah.
That the way I got the idea for even doing that was because, I come from the rich dad, poor dad, stuff and training. And I actually hired his coaches to coach me on real estate investing and stuff. So I was buying up properties and I was renting them out, and I was checking out new properties and new houses. And I'm like, oh, how can I implement this into what I've learned how to do with helping local business owners? And I got sick and tired of building sites for them and then charging them a monthly fee to do the ranking stuff. And then after the first couple months, they're like, oh, I'm going to stop paying you. And now I had to start over from scratch. And if I got a client in the same city, all of a sudden I'm competing with myself. So if I did a good job for the other client and they stop paying me, now I've got to go beat myself in order to, and it's a lot more work to like try and outrank what I had already created for somebody else. So I'm like, okay, how can I do this to kind of like combine what I learned with doing the rich dad, poor dad, with, buying up properties and leasing them out. And I'm like, well, when you go look for properties, what do? The first thing you do is, like if it's a brand new house, you go to the leasing office or to the purchase office, and they usually have like a like one office, and then they have like 5 floor plans, right? Five houses that have different floor plans, and they're the model homes where you go in and you look around, you see how it all looks, you see what the house will look like, and then they have all these plots all around that haven't been built. So they don't go and build like the whole area, the whole development before they start selling them. They sell the plots of land first and then start building the houses. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense, because people want to see what they can get, and you don't want to waste money building a bunch of stuff that you can't sell. So I was like, okay, well, this will save me time. So I just create one site as a sample site, which would be my model home. And I'd say, hey, here's what you can have. Do you want this, or do you want something in a different area or to be different? And I could set that up just like I did right here. So that was my model home, and I would do the same thing for them, but I would take the money ahead of time and boom, now I would build it. So that's why it's so powerful being able to do that. And again, you don't have to use our software. You can use WordPress. You can use other services out there. Some are better than others. Like there's, what is that, Square or something? I mean, a lot of those sites, those drag and drop builders, yeah, they suck. I mean, we've tested them out. They look great. They're pretty. They're very functional, but they don't do good in the search engines because they're not developed for that. They're developed to make pretty sites that people tell you to go to and give you a link to go to. They're not built for you to be able to search on Google and search like, what's the best dentist in my area? What's the most affordable dentist in my area? You know, they're not built to show up in the search engines as well as something like using Sparksio, or even something, if you're not going to use Sparksio, you use WordPress, and there's schema plugins and things like that you can use. And that would work a hell of a lot better than using those other services. And then obviously we built Sparksio to just shortcut the success and to do it a lot easier than that. But definitely one of my favorite ways for anybody to get started. It's not for everybody, and it's not easy, but it's definitely easier than having to go to a 9-to-5. It's definitely easier than having to work for somebody else and being told what you need to do at what time, and be in your seat and work consistently the whole day and do all these other things. Because why do you want to spend, 8-9 hours or however long it is people work at a job today, right? Where you could just spend like 2 to 3 hours a day learning these skills yourself, and then spending 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day building your own business, to where, because you got to remember, you're not turning around selling every day. So if you're like getting, let's say you get, let's say your goal is to get 10 customers to pay you, $500 each, right? Well, 500 times 10 is what?
$5,000.
You good at math? There you go, $5,000. So that's $5,000 a month, because this is a monthly thing. So now they're paying you a month. So after you get those 10 customers and you're only charging them $500 each a month, maybe that's all you need. Maybe that's all you want. So you don't go and get any more clients, but you don't have to go rebuilding everything for them every single month. It's already built. So once you set it up to maintain those properties, just like any other property, once you lease out, your home or something to somebody, there's not that much maintenance required, because how often do things break? Not very often, and you'd have to go repair those things. So if the sink broke, or the toilet broke, or something broke in the house, a water heater or something, yeah, you'd have to replace that, and you'd use the money, the profit that you made. But with websites, what the heck breaks? Nothing really, especially if you're using something good, right? It's like nothing's really going to break. So there's not much maintenance required at all. I would say if I have 20 clients, 20 sites, the only maintenance that I require is maybe an hour a month total, not per client. So just 1 hour a month. And the maintenance would be, somebody said they changed their phone number. Somebody said that they no longer offer a service and they want me to remove it from their site. Somebody changed their address. Okay, I'll change that address. I mean, something stupid, simple like that. And that's it. It's not like you're doing, so it's just so much easier. And it's just, again, it's one of my favorite ways to get started right away.
Yeah, and evicting non-payers is so easy, because you do it in a way that you protect yourself. So then you change one thing one time, and the phone numbers go to a new tenant or whatever. You're not like with real properties, you've got to go through the courts, or at least here in the UK, somebody doesn't pay, it takes 6 months plus going through the courts just to get them out, and then they might walk out and then never pay you anything, or say, oh well, I'm poor, so I can only pay you £10 a month back towards the back rent. It's a nightmare. Whereas this, you just change it, done, they're out. So yeah, absolutely, you're so protected, and it's I'd highly recommend that. Yeah,
all the best things that I did was straight from, I call it my lazy, right? Some people are like, I don't like how you call yourself lazy, Dan. And I always say it's like lazy approved, Dr. Dan Lazy approved. Yeah. And the reason why is because again, it really is work smarter, do less, make more, leverage your time. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but I really just call it my lazy method, because I don't want to do more work in the future. So what could I do right now to protect myself and to make it easier in case I have to do something in the future? And I always look at every single thing I do like that. And if I see a mistake, I fix it. And then I forward think that as well. Like, how do I prevent this from the future? Whereas most people just fix it and move on. But I'm like, how do I prevent myself from having to do this in the future? So I'm always looking for different ways to make it simpler, to make it easier. And one of those is, just like Tony said, was when I'm working with clients and they change their phone number or something like that, or if I need to evict a client from their site. And it's not evicting them. They stop paying and you're just going to give it to somebody else. Well, then I'd have to go back to every different page and site that I created for them, change the phone number, and do that for the next person that comes in and stuff like that. So instead, I would actually get virtual phone numbers, and the virtual phone number would redirect to whoever's phone was leasing the site. So now if I was going to change, it's just like a redirect and a link. So if I was going to change clients, I don't have to change the phone number anywhere on the site. All I do is go to the central location. There's like Twilio. I use phone.com most of the time because I have a bunch of free phone numbers from them, because I was an affiliate for them for years. And I've got like $1,000+ worth of free phone numbers. So I would just change one spot on there on the website, phone number redirects to this number now. And that's it. It was as simple as that. So I didn't have to do anything else. And of course I'd have to go back to the site, maybe change, like some text or something like that here and there, but at least it was ready to go for the next client. So it wasn't like I had to do a lot of extra work, or if I had created some like images or some other advertisements like YouTube, because when you make YouTube videos for people as well, I'd put the phone number in the video. So imagine if you're doing it for a customer, you can't change that, right? So you're kind of stuck with it. Well, now, because I use the virtual phone number for that stuff, I don't have to worry about it, because now it's just redirecting to the new place. So it's always just forward thinking what could save me time. And another thing that did for me was, I was like, how do I make money faster and keep people longer? Because I was noticing on average, some of the new clients I was bringing on, this was when I was working with a lot of mortgage brokers. And a lot of them, this is during the height of the mortgage and real estate time here in California. And a lot of people were kind of like a hobbyist, right? So they would just do it, and they would like sell like one house a year or something like that. Everybody wanted to be a realtor. They thought they were going to make money in it. So instead I actually started changing my pricing and my services so I could keep people longer. Because if they were only going to pay me for 1 or 2 months, then I had to switch to the next one. I had to go out and resell. So I'm like, okay, I want to weed through the people that are serious and the people that aren't serious, and keep people longer as well. But mainly I want to weed through the hobbyists that aren't going to stay with me long enough. So I just started making an offer where I'm like, look, it's $599 a month if you go month to month for my service. You get a site and you get videos and you get all this other stuff. Or if you prepay for 6 months, you actually get 1 month or 2 months for free. And if you prepay for a year, then I'm going to give you 2 or 3 months for free. I've changed it up so many different times. So it could be any of those, right? And then I would give them the breakdown of how much they would save and how much it breaks down to every single month. Now, I actually got this idea, mainly the pricing idea, from when I was a personal trainer and I was selling memberships and coaching services and stuff like that. They always bundled stuff together like that and prepaid. And they had this drawer full of like personal training agreements of people that spent all this money but never even used their personal training because it was part of their package or something like that. But they paid more for it because it was a value, but they didn't use it. So I was like, okay, well, how can I, use something like that I learned that works very successful in that other industry? And that's what I did. I was like, okay, well, this will keep people guaranteed for 6 months to a year for whichever one they sign up for. And now I don't have to go out and resell this to somebody else. And I can weed through the people that aren't actually really serious and just want to do 1 month the service. And then I have to go out and resell this and it just, keep creating more work for myself. And little did I know how successful that would go. I would say that at least 80, I would say like 95% of the people, 90 to 95% of the people chose either the 6 month or the 12-month prepay. I think only one person, maybe two people, had ever done the month to month because it just didn't make any sense to them. So they would do the 6 month or the year. And I think it was the 6 month was more popular, but not by much. So I was sitting there collecting like, 5-10 grand per a new customer that I brought on. And it just allowed me to bring in like more customers every single month in different industries and different cities and different areas, because now it's collecting a lot more money. And you can see how doing something like that, you can go out and get like 10 customers, right? So 10 customers at let's say what, $1,000 per customer or something like that. Let's just say the low end. Well, what's 1,000 times 10?
10,000.
Boom.
What do
and
I
that's
win?
a month though. Yeah. So,
For other
that's the
areas,
thing is
so
like,
it grows,
because you're collecting that. Yeah. The goal is to get as many people as you can, but just keep doing the prepay. I was trying to do the lowest number because I never signed anybody for $1,000, right? Like if you do the math, if we do the math, right?
By 12 is nothing.
Yeah. So you figure if you're charging like, let's say 500 times whatever. So we're probably collecting like 5 to 8 grand per customer, right? So you only need what? If you're charging 5 grand, let's say 5 grand times, how much do you need 5 grand to get to 100 grand?
Oh, 20? Is it?
Yeah, 20. Yeah, see, you can suck at math and do this, right?
Exactly. I'm not famous for my maths, especially in a live situation.
Yeah. So if you want to get to 100 grand, usually we have this stuff written down. I didn't write anything down this time. So if you want to get to 100 grand, just get 20 clients paying 5 grand. And you could do that. You could do that in 2 months. You could do that in 3 months. That's the cool thing about it. You're getting paid right now, and you don't have to wait for a bunch of these little commissions to come in or anything like that. So I'm not saying this is what everybody should do. It's not for everybody. No, but I'd much rather do this than have to work at a job or anything else. And maybe one of the other, 7 things that we mentioned of the 8 things that we mentioned. These are all things that I've done in my own business, in my own life that, has been successful, that has put money in my pocket, paid for where I live, paid for the cool stuff that I have, allowed my wife to stay home and not have to go to a job, allow my kids to be homeschooled, to buy all the stuff that they want that I didn't have as a kid. Like I think the hardest thing is like Christmas and birthdays for us with our kids, and even with ourselves. It's like, what do we get each other? Because we don't ever wait for that stuff. Like I asked my daughter, like her birthday's coming up right now, right? It's coming up next month. And my wife was just saying like, oh, she wants this really nice mixing bowl for her birthday. Like a mixing bowl. Why? Because she has everything else. What else does she need? Right? It's like when they want a PS5, we weren't like, oh, Christmas is coming up, guys. We're like, okay, I just ordered it. I want this VR system. I want a gaming computer. All right, just found a good one. Let's go get it. It's not like, it's not that they're spoiled and they don't even feel spoiled and they don't feel entitled. They don't feel any of that stuff. It's just, it's normal life for them because they are homeschooled and they're not going to school, to a regular public school where people are saying like, oh, you're spoiled because you got this. So they don't feel that they're spoiled, and they understand they have a different relationship with money as well, to where they don't feel like, oh, mom and dad is going to buy me anything I want. They actually respect money. They understand money, but they have a different relationship with money to where they're like, money isn't something that's hard to get, that I can take my skill, I can take my creativity, and I could put it out there and get paid. I mean, my son is 12 years old and he's on like roadblocks and playing like Minecraft, and he's building worlds for other developers out there just for fun. And they're paying him in virtual money that he uses in Roblox. So instead of him coming to us and saying, hey, mom, dad, can you give me $100 for me to buy like cool backpacks and stuff, virtual backpacks that I can wear and stuff like that, and different skins and whatever the heck else they buy in there. He's building stuff himself. And these aren't things that we told him to do. These aren't things that we tell our kids, you need to do this to make money. They just do it because they have a different relationship with money. And that's what's so powerful about this. If you've got kids, that you can actually show them by doing it. And they will have a different relationship. They won't have the same struggles that we had growing up, where it's like we're out there trying to hustle and make money, like hustle in a good way. Like just get out there and make money and survive, They don't get the same.
It's funny you mention that, because I read a thing earlier, a little quote earlier, and it was somebody saying, and this directly applies, somebody saying, disease runs in families because eating habits run in families. And this is exactly the same. Stinking thinking around money runs in families because these poor attitudes to money and work and things like that run in families. It's all learned behavior, isn't it? So like all the hang-ups that I've got, and there's some I've overcome and some I haven't yet, are all learned. You're not born this way, So and your kids are the absolute proof that it is nurture over nature when it comes to learned habits and attitudes around money. So I think that's great. That's great. Yeah, they're nice. Living in an abundance environment, so not having to wait to buy stuff. I think yeah. On the outset, you think, oh, is that wise? But now that I've heard your side of things, yeah, absolutely, yeah, that they're definitely going to have this just abundance mindset in the future. And yeah, what a brilliant problem to have. Like, don't know what to get at Christmas. Wow, that's mad.
Well, it's funny.
I love it.
It's funny when we go to the stores, like we'll buy like a big shopping cart full of stuff a lot of times, and people will be like, oh, whose birthday is it? Or or early Christmas shopping. And we're like, no. Because on Christmas, we don't really go out and shop for a bunch of stuff because we already got a lot of the things. So we end up like struggling trying to find, what do we get them, Like,
but then again, I guess that then makes Christmas more about what it should be about, whatever your religious leanings, it's about families and time and goodwill to all men and women and everyone else. So yeah, taking the things out of the equation, I think that's even better, isn't it?
Yeah, I like my friend Guru Singh, what he said. He said somebody asked him, they said, because he wears his turban and he's Sikh, right? And they're like, oh, this kid like ran up to him or something and said, oh, do you celebrate Christmas? And he goes, why, yes, I do. I celebrate every chance I get. Like any holiday, anything, it doesn't matter about religion. It's like anything that you can celebrate, you celebrate. And I think that's great. You should celebrate everything.
Celebrate
for sure.
Good times. Yeah. Come on.
Exactly. That reminds me, though, we didn't make a note that we definitely need to go deeper in another episode about like raising conscious kids and the advantages and just the cool things that they learn and do. And we'll go deeper into that because it's great. Like my kids are like little mini therapists, like, in a good way, where they're able to actually help us sometimes through certain problems and challenges, because again, like you said, they don't have any of that internal, muck. They didn't have to, crawl through the mud as a kid, mentally and physically with other people, putting them down and trying to make them feel less than or anything like that, or teasing or making fun of, So it's really cool. So we'll definitely have to save another topic on that. Maybe I'll bring the wife in too, and we'll do a 3-person episode.
Yes, that'd be smashing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, raising conscious kids. I think that's going to be a great one. It's going to be a great one.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Well, I think we just hit our record amount of time doing an episode now. Yep. I have no idea how long this is going to be, but it's definitely longer than the other ones. So I think this would be a good point to wrap up and remind people to, what do we remind them to click little thing at the bottom and like it. And
I mean, if you haven't already, give us the thumbs up. And if you haven't already, then hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you know when we upload a new episode. And hey, yeah, I mean, whatever platform you're watching this on, we'd love to hear in the comments below what your favorite part was. What out of all these 8 ideas that we've both used to make money, what one are you going to try next? What ones have you used already? We'd love to hear all of this, and we reply to every single comment. So we would love to hear it. Let's go.
And your top questions or anything like that, or any future episodes you want us to talk about, or any of that stuff. And if you're listening, like on another platform and not watching, be sure to go to YouTube, go to rockstarinlife.com. We'll have the episode there, the video episode there. We'll have links, resources, everything else, a bunch of free stuff and other cool stuff. And you can reach out to us there. And all else I got to say is be a rockstar in your life and make the world your stage.
And of course, don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling.
Thanks for watching the RockStar In Life podcast, your source for unleashing your inner rockstar. For more tips, training, and free stuff, be sure to go to rockstarinlife.com and join the RockStar In Life revolution today. Thanks again, and don't forget to be a rockstar in your life and make the world your stage.